Okay, the curriculum committee meeting,
No?
yes, I'm gonna share it because Angel Mendez is not here today. Item at 5:47. Item number 1, call to order. Item number 2, the report on routes for cross-country runners.
I'm gonna have our head cross-country coach, Coach Buttle, discuss a few things and, Jeff, just choose right out.
Do I need to use the microphone?
No,
I brought some maps,
okay.
because if you don't know where you're going, right? Cross-country. What we have been currently doing for practice is, what we've been currently doing for practice is we've been running from the high school down to the Haven Trail. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's the Haven Trail. And it can be unsafe. It's one of those things where early mornings, 6 o'clock in the morning, it's dark. There's no sidewalk on that street. And, people haven't had their coffee yet and they don't see us all the time. We have blinking lights we wear and things like this, but it's still, it's a little bit of a hazard for about a mile. Once we get to the Haven Trail, everything's fine. But the mile down there is a little bit of a concern. And so we've talked about having on-campus trail. And if we do that, which we have what we call the turkey route, I'm sure you're all familiar with the turkey route. It's been there for a long time. But it's like a day like today, we were running out there in the morning. It's wet, it's muddy, there's things that are going on. And so what we were looking at is on campus creating a route that could be surfaced. And I've looked into some really inexpensive things, cheaper. We don't want anything cemented, we don't want anything asphalt, because as a runner, that's really hard on the legs. And so we're looking at what is called crushed, decomposed granite. There's one that they just put in the city next to us. I don't want to mention the name, but in the city next to us at Pendleton Park, they have a really nice trail that is this stuff. It has an edging on it. It's about 8 feet wide, and it goes, they claim, for about 1.5 miles. I brought I brought this to you. It's an article that was in the paper quite some time ago, but it was about building this trail. And the cool thing is, I highlighted what was important. It's decomposed, crushed granite. And it says a lot of runners like that because it's easy on the ankles and the knees, which it is. And we run 8 miles in the morning, we run 8 miles at night, so it's 16 miles. It's nice to have something soft to run on. Yeah. And this stuff doesn't wash away. It's relatively cheap. I did look up some of the prices. It depends really on who does it, and I'm not an engineer, but they're looking at $3 to $5 a cubic yard for this stuff. And you just throw her down. I mean, we would probably need a couple tons of it, but it's 1.7 miles around our high school.
I was gonna say,
Yes.
this would be at the high school?
It would be at the high school, yes, ma'am. And you can see this is not a very good map, but you can see it is on the outskirts. Basically, we're following the fence line all the way around the high school. It could be used not just by us, but it would be used by PE. It would be used by even security in the evenings, where they would. It's kind of like if you go to these ranches, next to the fence, it's all mowed down so they can drive along that. So it'd be great for that. I've got that blue section on that map. If you noticed, right out in front of the stadium, it's pavement there anyway, so we wouldn't have to do anything there. And besides, we can run down through the pet parking lot. What we would want to do is gate that one fence, and then we could run right through there. This would be really good for security because we would be running in a locked area. We could even close off La Palma entrance so that, in the morning people aren't delivering their kids through that gate. They could come through the front. And so that there's no way that there's any cars that are going to be close to us. The other one that we could loop back in that area. Now, I know that it sounds like they're going to be building some buildings. That might be a problem there, but I put that in blue because that's not necessary. We don't need that. It would be nice to have that. But basically, we're going all the way around the outside of the property and with this crushed granite. I'm trying to think who else could use it. We could just PE. We've got ISS that would go out there. You've got ROTC, track, soccer. They would all use this. We would use it in competition. This next year, we have the district cross-country meet will be there. It would be kind of nice to, have that, because for the last 38 years, we've been running on the grass. It's not a problem, but it does, if we were going to use it all the time, like we think we're going to do now, if we stay on campus, we're going to beat it down. And it's going to become muddy, in the bad weather. And with this, it would pretty much stay ready to go all the time. There's low maintenance. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about doing my driveway in this stuff.
So more than anything, Coach, it would keep the kids off the streets in the morning. correct?
Yes, we would be completely off the streets. And honestly, like I said, we could lock ourselves in there and it would be completely secure. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
it's,
still be able to get our 8 miles in.
cool, so it's safer. So when's that district meet you got, Doc? When is that?
That's going to be about October 21st, sometime in there. So if we go forth on this thing, it'd be nice to start as soon as possible. I mean,
Add
it
it
would
to
be
your
really cool.
list of priorities.
Yes. Something I also suggested, and I'm not sure this is something I'd like to see done because it's kind of one of those things, if it's going to be a cross-country trail, is they make street signs. And I was thinking about putting all of the kids in the past 50 years who have gone to state qualifiers, put street signs. Every corner that we turn, we don't have to, we wouldn't have to put a cone there. We wouldn't have to have the maintenance go out there and set our course up. It's already ready to go. We go around the street sign,
Okay.
and it gives the kids coming up, hey, I know that guy, he was my uncle, or whatever. And it's because we have quite a few
Right.
great state qualifiers that have come
Okay.
through the system. And that would be kind of a neat thing, too. I've actually bought a couple of them, and I'm going to see what they look like. And if current kids, I put their names on it, they're going to have get excited about that. But this would be something that would be kind of state-of-the-art. There's, let's face it, there's not a lot of high schools that do this sort of thing for their cross-country team. What a blessing it would be. And it would be low maintenance. From what I understand, this crushed granite deters weeds.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you got an edge on it, it could be, we're talking about plastic edging or cement edging, something that they could mow right over top of. The weeds aren't going to grow into it. It's relatively cheap, and it's not going to float away in a flood.
Right.
I thought about cedar shavings and stuff.
Right.
No, that stuff floats away. So,
Okay.
anyway,
Okay, cool. There's a lot of things,
yes.
Doc,
That's
I guess
great.
one of the issues or concerns here would be our maintenance. Who's gonna do the construction, number one? Number two, how long is it gonna take? Stuff like that, so,
Priorities.
yeah.
I've kind of looked into that and how much time it would be and how much it's going to cost. I've got this thing here if you want to look at that, I can give it to you. And it also talked about, there's grants that we can apply for if we want to get the Parks and Wildlife has Benavides Park in Brownsville. They gave them $137,000 to build theirs, and it was, doesn't say how long, but some of these are like 12 miles long. Ours is only a mile,
Okay, so it
1.7.
won't take that long.
Yeah,
Not
and
that
it's something
long.
that can be done relatively
mile and a
quick.
half.
I don't,
Tell me the length, mile and a half?
It's 1.7 to be exact.
1.7.
Yes.
Coach,
Yes.
you do an awesome job. Get to see you with the bike, go with the kids, and you get to see you go back and rotate with the kids who are staying behind, and you
Oh,
go
yes.
forward, back and forth,
Thank
and it's like,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
doing twice the amount of exercise. But yes, one of the concerns people brought up is your route. And basically, I did express the way you were doing it, because I get to see you once in a while in the mornings and the evenings also.
Oh, you mean on the Haven Trail? Or-
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But this is another
This would
option
solve that.
we can have.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
You know,
All right,
Doc,
thank you, sir.
I think, Coach, we were trying to, with all these accidents and stuff like that happen, I guess across the state or across the nation, we're trying to just be proactive and see what we can do to.
And we've had our moments,
Yes, sir.
and you kind of hold your breath.
Yeah,
And especially on La Palma, because they're coming out, we're coming this direction, but they look out because they're going to turn right, and we're right there. They don't see us. And so, we run together when we're coming back, but we say, wait, they don't see us, and we stop. I mean, we wait, and they, they still don't see us when they pull out, but it's just
Okay.
one of those things. And this would correct all of that. This would be,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, so,
And-
Coach, so moving forward, meanwhile, while all this stuff gets, ironed out,
Yes.
so what's Plan B? Is there any way that you can get transportation to take you all?
Well, this is the other
to
thing I
to
thought
the
of.
Haven?
Yes, sir. I thought of police escort down and back. It could be by our, no. Sometimes that makes a good runner, okay, a little fear. But I was just thinking, if we could have either the school or possibly the city, because they've done it before,
Right.
just out of their own free will. We were running down, and the guy put on his lights, and we ran behind him, not behind him, but next to him, and
Right.
went down and down. Because we're on the side of the road
Right.
anyway, but that was also another thing. If we can't do this, that would solve a lot, because they would definitely see all of us then. And some people would want to.
Or have our own police officer.
Yeah, that would be something that is very, very,
Okay, but let's say that's not feasible, because you need that twice a day, morning and,
well, no, what we do, yeah, I suppose, but
so.
in the mornings especially. That's because we used to go down there all the time. Now, in the afternoons, we can stay on campus. Yeah, but the morning is the real issue.
Yeah, because for now, I mean, the kids can,
Yeah,
you know. Okay,
all right?
all right, thanks.
sir.
Well, appreciate it.
Is this an item for the agenda or no, just for FYI?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, FYI only? Okay. Okay,
It may not go over the price where it needs board approval.
okay. Item number, oh,
It says, what's the route, you know? We need to talk about it, because it's basically asking what is the route to take. It doesn't say anything about proposing or anything.
No, so this is not a proposal, it was a discussion on the current routes or cross-country routes,
Okay.
right?
What it is.
okay, item number. You're doing it on purpose, I know that. Yes, you are. Item number 3, the report on benchmark results.
Yep, I think Mrs. Ortiz is ready to present on that.
Good evening, Dr. Carmen, members of the board, and public audience. The information that I've shared with you today is the preliminary report. Our benchmark window started last week, and it'll end this Friday. So, for example, for one of our elementaries, we're still pending the completion of their testing. And for our middle school, we are pending the writing compositions being scored. On the table, the first table at the very top is going to be the spring benchmark information. And at this point, it's 4th grade writing, 5th grade reading and math, and 8th grade reading and math, and 7th grade writing. In the middle, there's a green row. That is the state scores in 2017. This was a 2017 release test. And the bottom table is how the district and the campuses performed in 2017. The second page shows the difference between where we are right now with our benchmark in comparison to our performance last year. Keeping in mind that we still have 5 weeks of instruction to increase our scores. And then the third page is the middle school.
I guess I got a question for Mr. Madrigal. So Madrigal, so how do you assess this data? How can you interpret it, where we're at, where we want to be, where we currently are?
I think based off of where we are right now with the amount of time that we have, we're in a good spot where we are. Is it where, ultimately where we want to be? The answer is no. I know our first target or objective, if you will, is for all campuses to meet the state average, which is in green. We have had some that have exceeded it, but that is the goal for all of them. And then to move on to the meets and masters to meet what the state is requiring there as well. However, at the current time, based off of the benchmarks compared to last year, I think we're in a good spot. It gives us a few weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, to make the necessary interventions for the kids that we need to. work with.
I think we all, what we need to also take into consideration is the amount of time that, you know, all this assessment has been, you know, pretty much set up in a short period of time. You know, I mean, you guys just, you know, got here. So, you know, if you feel comfortable with, you know, where we're headed and where we need to go and all that, then I don't think, I'm not gonna say it's not a fair assessment right now after 6 months or 8 months of you know, of implementing curriculum. But I just think we need to give, you know, a little bit more of an opportunity for all the staff to continue working for the betterment of the education of our kids. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 4, report on climate survey results.
Is that going to be Ms. Peña, or do you have,
No,
no, Ms. Ortiz again? Okay,
Ms.
sorry.
Ortiz will be handing out the packets. She'll explain the packets to you.
Oh.
Okay, so you've received 2 packets. It's the same information, just presented in 2 different ways. The legal documents are the graphs based on each question that was asked in the survey, with the results for each of the campuses, with the table at the bottom. In gold, you'll see those are going to be your strongly agree, with a percentage for that. And in purple would be agree. Blue would be not sure. Disagree would be the orange. And then strongly disagree would be the red. The letter size one, what we did is we have the same information, but separated for each of the campuses, so that you could see the information. The columns are going to be the questions that were asked, and then how did they score for each of the different categories, from strongly agrees to strongly disagree. The very last page of that packet is going to give you the list of questions, with the information of all of the campuses combined.
All right, so Ms. Ortiz, if we look at this data by question, if we look at the legal size, for example, the first question we asked was, I feel that I can approach the building administrators with concerns, issues, or ideas. Ideally, we'd like to see all gold or mostly gold and
Yes.
purple, because that's strongly agree or agree. As a district over there on the right, the average for all campuses, 49% said strongly agree, 33 agreed. So really, 82% of our staff are saying that they feel like they can approach the building administrators. And then as you just look across by campus, again, the larger that the gold and purple add up to be, the more positive the response was to that answer.
Are these teachers or are these student questions?
This is staff. Yes.
Refresh my memory real quick, and who conducted the audit? Did we do it internally, or was it
This survey?
the survey, yeah?
We use SurveyMonkey for it.
That's right.
Our technology department put it out to each campus.
Okay, thank you.
It's anonymous through SurveyMonkey. We can't tell you who responded what.
No, that's fine. I'm very concerned on the all-campus response.
For which question?
All of them. %43 agree.
No, that's strongly agree. So if you add the 49 and the 33 on question 1, 82% either agreed or strongly agreed. On question 2, 82% between agree and strongly agree. Question 3, 79%.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the
Okay.
color. But some of the color runs onto the other one, so you can't really,
Oh.
you can't really see the numbers.
Those numbers on the graph are also down at the bottom of the page beneath the.
Yeah, I know, but I like to see it on the graph. I'm gonna have to take it home and study it because I can't do it today.
I think, and certainly do your own data analysis, each of you, but I think what you'll find is most of the campuses scored pretty highly on most of these areas. We have a couple that we noticed that did not score as high.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Okay, some of these campuses, Mr. Madrigal, have new principals, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so are we gonna run this, are we gonna allow them to, are we gonna, once they have this data, because I'm more sure they've seen it as well, haven't they?
The principals,
Yes.
No,
no, I've not seen their data yet.
No, have you seen this, have they seen this data?
no.
No, sir.
No, okay.
Will they
Did we release
see?
the data, Lee? Oh, was it released to the principals? No.
No.
So it's not gonna be released to them, or this?
It's going to be released by their campus alone.
Okay, that's fine, but what I'm saying is that, is there gonna be, I mean, honestly, I mean, you know, I think they're pretty decent scores myself, I think they're fair, you know, so, but my question is, you know, the campus did not do so well in your guys' eyes, what are we gonna do to be proactive to see how we're gonna change that morale of that campus, or the, you know, the questions that those staff members may have there?
I know that we've met with the directors, and we knew going into this, there might have been some campuses in question, and we've started to talk to the directors to see how we could help those principals boost morale.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Is that it? Is that it? Okay, item number 5, review discussion of class size waiver. Ms. Ortiz?
Ortiz as well.
So for this item, back in September, we discussed the class size exception. This is for classrooms that are over the 22-to-1 limit. At this time, because we have received students in different grade levels due to our migrant population, we do have to resubmit to the state because we do have some classrooms that were not on the original exception, and so we just have to resubmit, so we just need to present that to you all. At this time, we have 9 additional classrooms that we would need to request. And also wanted to let you all know that some of the ones that we requested at the beginning of the year are no longer over the 22-to-1, but they get grandfathered in for the rest of the year.
This is an item agenda?
This needs action, right?
Yes.
Yes, so yes.
So it's an item agenda? Okay, item number 6, review discussion of 2018-2019 school calendar. It's already out. I'm excited because John Quinones is gonna be here. He better be here.
25,000.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I've given you all copies of all 3 of the options that were up for vote, and the one that was chosen unanimously was option C, which is the 3rd one.
Option C. Let me see, what happens, option C, 27, first day for students. Wait, teacher.
So maybe address some of the differences between this
Yes.
year's calendar and the one for next year?
So some of the differences, we do have to abide by the first start date. The earliest that we can start our students is going to be August 27th. That's based on Texas law. And so we are going to have 8 teacher preparation days before the students come in. That would put the teacher preparation days in that third week of August, the 13th and the 14th. We would have the last day for students and teachers being for students being May 31st and for teachers being June 1st. That's because we do have to have 187 days for our teachers. And so in order to do that and to fit into the schedule, this is the one that was chosen for that. Other than that, I think most of the holidays are pretty similar to what we had for this school year. We do have some more teacher preparation days throughout the school year. That was a concern that was brought up. They wanted some more days to prepare throughout the school year, so they do have some opportunities.
So the staff was involved?
Yes, the campus leaders were involved in the committees, and they went back and briefed with their campus personnel, and then they would come back to the next committee meeting.
Well, that's fine. If the staff was involved, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we made sure we had key members of our instructional staff from campus and central office in this development, because it's an instructional calendar, it's not a maintenance calendar. But then exactly as Ms. Ortiz said, we took it back and each of our campuses voted on it. And then essentially each campus had one vote, but as I understand, every campus overall selected this option.
Agenda.
Wow. Okay. Agenda item? Item number 7, review and discussion of Neighbors in Need of Services, Niños, MOU for Children's Learning Institute online platform, CLI Engage.
Good evening, Dr. Carmen, ladies and gentlemen of the board. The MOU that you have in your packet is, if I'm not mistaken, for the software, Mr. Eliad?
Yep.
And it's not to be confused with the facility usage, because I know there's some land room in that MOU. We just want to make sure that it's clear that it is for the software data exchange and not the facility. We have a representative that would
Hi,
like to
how are you? Good evening.
Good
My name
evening.
is Patricia Flores Cantu, and I work with Children's Learning Institute with the University of Texas Health Science Center. So what this MOU is, it's a data sharing agreement. There's already an MOU in existence between San Benito ISD and Niños Head Start for facilities, for collaboration, for the curriculum and all of that. What this is both entities use an online platform for their assessment of their pre-K children. So this is for pre-K. Both agencies, San Benito ISD and Niños Head Start, both use the system. We are the third party that sets up the platform. So what we're asking for an MOU is to give the platform permission to share data between both. They're both assessing the same children, so this would prevent children from being double assessed on the exact same test. The data is the same. So that's all it is just allowing dually enrolled children that are enrolled in both, for both entities to be able to see the data on the progress monitoring that's being done for pre-K children.
Okay.
What's the,
Questions? Anybody?
is there a financial attachment to this or financial implication at all?
Actually, the system is free. It's free for the state of Texas, and it's free for all Head Starts. All it is just that you give permission to share the data.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So it's an item agenda. Okay. Item number 8, review discussion of the Migrant Close-Up Program student trip to Washington, D.C. and New York.
Good evening. I have a report before I start. Let me hand it out.
Okay.
As you can see, the report pretty much outlines all the information and services and activities that are going to take place with the Close-Up program. Basically, the Close-Up is a high school leadership program, and it's for our 9th through 12th grade students. It's designed to give the students an inside look of their democracy in action. Basically, we'll be using the nation's capital as a living classroom. Students will be interacting with people, processes, and places that make the whole federal city a unique place. In addition, we'll be going to New York City and also attending various workshops and visiting monumentals over there. We do this every year, but this year, because it's over 50,000, that's why we're bringing it up to you.
Oh, okay.
We will have an administrator as one of the chaperones attending as well. So, I think
Do you need any more chaperones?
well,
Just in case.
I'll have to check with Mr. Madrigal on that one.
Oh, is he the one going?
No,
Oh,
no, we met
So
earlier
it's a
last
no.
week and we discussed as far as
I don't
the
wanna go if
chaperones
he
going.
goes.
And, yeah. So anyway,
just kidding.
it's a good program.
It
The
is.
students,
It's
we
beautiful.
get there, we meet, all the representatives that are going to be there. The students pretty much room with other migrant students
Okay.
from throughout the nation. They won't room with our
Oh,
students.
oh my goodness.
They form up in these groups and they go through workshops to prepare them for debates amongst each other. We get to go to the Capitol. Mr. Filemon Vela gives us passes to go
Okay.
like to the rotunda and things like that. We'll eat there at the nation's capital. Every time we've been there, we've seen the president pass by, with all his entourage.
You sure you want to see
And-
Trump?
We get to go to the White House. Past 2 years, there's been an incident happen, so we were pretty much held off to go, but that's in the schedule.
Okay.
This year, what's new is the trip now includes a 2-day trip to New York City.
That's
So,
beautiful. Oh my
On
God.
Friday, we would travel by bus, and then we'd fly back to Harlingen Sunday.
Okay.
So the trip is 7 days total, and it used to be 6 days. Yeah, 6 days. So we just added a few more days, and it'll be a good trip. I know our students get a lot out of it.
Okay.
They get to participate. Well, actually, they get to attend the legislative sessions. So as they're going on throughout the day, we basically go in there and observe, the government in action. And like I said, it's basically a classroom,
It's an experience.
An experience,
I know. I've been there, done that, so it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay.
Mr. Hernandez, would
Yes.
you explain to the board, this is one trip, but I think I just signed a trip from Michigan today. Can you
Yes,
kind
sir.
of go over the total travel we're doing with our students as well as our staff, along with the estimated cost for that, please, so they get a full picture?
Okay. Throughout the year, we also plan camp trips. It's the college assistance migrant programs. And the universities and the colleges that are unique to the migrant program are, for example, UTRGV, Brownsville, Edinburgh, Michigan State University, TAMU in Laredo, and St. Edward's in Austin. So we plan these trips so the students can go firsthand and actually get exposed, to these universities and colleges. We also take 20, on some of the trips, we take up to 40 students. Say, for example, the Michigan State University trip, we'll be taking 20 students because we'll be flying over there from Harlingen. We'll also take 4 chaperones to include an administrator as well. The Laredo trip, we're looking at $10,332. The Austin St. Edward's trip, we're looking at $9,376. The UTRGV and the Brownsville camp trips, we're averaging around $500 per trip, the meals and so forth. the Michigan State University trip will be roughly around $29,000. The close-up DC trip, of course, it's $58,000 plus, and that pretty much includes our field trips coming up through this all the way up to the summer. In addition to that, we have the summer residential programs, you know, the Muse and the Mars at UTRGV in Edinburgh and TSTC, and we already the MOU for TSTC has been approved, and that cost alone was $100,000. So to say we have a plan in place. To say we're going to spend our monies, you know, there it is. It's just a matter of time before the approvals go through. There's a couple of approvals that I'm still waiting on. It's the St. Edwards and also the Tammy U in Laredo, but I just finalized the charter bus last Thursday. So as of today, we're getting absence forms signed from our principals and our chaperones, and I'll be moving that forward to get processed and approved pretty soon, probably at the end of this week. So we do have a lot of supplemental services and activities scheduled for our students coming up pretty soon, starting in April. But other than that, sir, does that answer your question?
It does. So I'm looking at about $208,000 roughly on
Yes,
on field trips this year
Mhm.
for our students. Okay.
And you have the money?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Our carryovers from last year were on 500,000. We just got it a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact. I believe it was brought up in the last meeting.
Okay.
Mr. Rendon did talk about that.
Right. Are we using the same chaperones for all these
No, sir.
trips?
We alternate.
Okay.
We basically used our migrant department's
Personnel.
chaperones. And
Okay.
the reason I say that is because we have a migrant counselor, we have a high school teacher, we have 2 middle school teachers, and we also have 2 elementary teachers. So what I do is I rotate them
Rotate them.
because it's important for everybody to get familiar and also be part of the whole migrant activities. Because a lot of these students that are coming up from the elementaries are pretty much graduating from our district. So as we start getting the teachers throughout the district involved, you know, they're part of the strategy as far as recruitment goes, and hopefully sustaining our students here.
And then specifically, I know we have the money, whether we spend it for these trips or other things for our students is up to the district. How many students have we had? 2 questions. One, how many trips, how many years we've gone to Michigan State?
This
2,
is our first year going to Michigan State.
This is our
sir.
first year,
Yes.
okay. So we
As a
don't
matter
have
of
any
fact,
students.
this is our first year that we have one of our students as a recipient of the MSU scholarship.
That's
migrant.
right. That's
So she'll be one of the students flying up there with us.
Okay.
Mr. Hines, I got a question. Back to the close-up information. You know, your bullet point number 1 says grade levels from 9th to 12th.
Yes.
But you mentioned 11 and 12 for this trip, or how do you select your kids that are going?
We have a criteria, and it's pretty much based on whoever's left here, staying for the summer. Because we have summer Project Smart going on. We have students going there. We have credit recovery going on in the summer. Students have to stay here to complete their credits. We have the summer residential programs. 20 students are going to TSTC, another 5 are going to Edinburgh. And then based on the ones that stay behind, as far as them not migrating, then we pretty much select from those. We do send out a survey to pool our students, see who's interested. And the survey comes back with the parents' signature that they are considering their children attending all these field trips, or the ones that they select. So a lot of the times we don't really know who's going to stay or who's going to go to the trips, because we still have testing going on.
Right.
And if they falter, they are deficient in that, then they'll stay behind and carry out that, try to get caught up with their credits. So to say that we don't have enough students in line waiting, no, we have the students. We just have to sit still for a little bit and see if they migrate. And for the ones that stay here, then we start. Priority is their credits, academic achievement. Okay, once the students have met that, then we base the criteria of selection on the students that are in okay standings. Because if they're not, then we need to keep them here. They're either going to regular SSI, or they're with doing the migrant summer credit recovery program, or they're at the Mars or Muse, because those 2 programs are basically for the students to recapture their credits, high school credits, not dual enrollment. So either way you see it, we're pretty much full as far as our plate goes to having all these options available for our students when it comes to credit recovery, or we're hopefully get them caught up. So now the close-up, we do use a lot of our students that are involved with our migrant clubs and other activities. So we use that as a criteria as well. But again, we pretty much have to wait and see where we're at with our student population by the end of, really, in April. Because then by that time, we have a deadline as to the names that we need to submit in regards to the travel arrangements, the airlines and so forth. So that's pretty much our criteria. I know it's not intense, but it's a little general, but that's what we deal with
No,
our
that's fine.
population.
I'm all for it. I'm all for the providing our kids with experiences and so on and so forth of going to different trips and all that. But my main focus is just to make sure that they meet their criteria standards here, and they're
Yes.
provided with the best resources for them to succeed here in our campus.
Yes.
So, I'm fine with spending, with spending all this money so they can experience something, but what this is telling me is that we don't need resources here in our campus, because we have excess amount of money to go out and take the kids out to, for trips and all that other stuff. So that's how I interpret this.
Yeah.
Now,
The interpretation of that comes with the college and career readiness as well.
Right.
And that's what we have to aim to meet all those objectives
Right.
that are set forth by TEA. So, there's a lot of services that we do provide, support services.
yes, sir,
for that.
and that's my main concern. My main concern is to make sure that our kids in this migrant program, that they all succeed, and
Yes.
they're all, provided with all the resources necessary to make sure we take care of that first before, I understand that, there's all these other programs and stuff like that, but that's my main concern.
All right.
Right, sir? Thank you,
Thank
appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Is it an item agenda? Okay. Item number 9, committee concerns? No? I'm just concerned that when Angel gets back, he's gonna question every one of these items on the board meeting. Mark my word. And then we have adjournment at 6:29.